I'm having my one.
Hello there, and welcome to episode 98 of the I'm Having My One podcast, the board games podcast with me and Paul, and sometimes some other people. He's here. In this very gluten-heavy episode, we will be reviewing the game Beer and Bread from 2022 from publishers Pegasus Spiel and designer Scott Almes. Joining me, as I said, is my good friend Paul, a guy who loves the subjects of this game. Paul, what's your favourite then? Beer, is it? Or bread? Beer or bread?
Or maybe beer, but a good sourdough. Ooh.
Feels a little bit like a would you rather moment. Like, would you rather have 10 bread fingers or 12 beer toes or something like that? But
I don't know.
if you had to give one up for a lifetime supply of the other, which would you prefer, beer or bread? Lifetime supply, Paul.
Oh,
You could feed the hungry right here.
do you know? I think I love bread.
Do you love bread?
I love bread so much. Do you remember when we went round Neil's and there was that bread at Neil's?
That bread, honestly, I think that bread, wherever he got it from, was some of the best bread I've ever had in my life. That was good bread. And he didn't
Yeah,
make it. Sorry, Neil.
I because
The soup
I
was excellent as well, but the bread was superb.
was there soup. Okay, cool.
Superb.
Superb, very good. I could do without beer because there is rum,
Sure.
but
Sure.
I don't have a replacement for bread.
Mm. Good bread.
Okay,
Good
question
bread.
for you.
Mm.
Rate those carbs, rank those carbs. So you've got rice, noodles, pasta, potatoes, bread. Rate your carbs.
At the top, I think I actually would go bread. I think I'll go bread. I'll,
So
I'll
good.
go bread, then pasta, then noodles. What was it? What are the choices?
Rice and potatoes.
Maybe potatoes before rice. I mean, noodles. Yeah. Bread, pasta, potatoes, noodles, rice. There, done. You?
Rice first.
Rice.
Do you like my rice?
I do like rice, but I mean, that's not really the favorite choice of anybody, surely. Come on.
Well,
Rice over bread. Rice over
we
pasta.
we eat a lot of Asian food,
Okay.
both East and South Asian. I think rice is quite popular out there.
They
Um,
do like it. They do
I
like
think
it.
if you ask, but because we eat a lot of curries and stuff like that, you need the rice.
Yeah, but you could have naan bread.
Naan
And
bread's
if you had to say rice or naan bread is so much more interesting than rice.
no, because you've got the variations of the rice. You've got like your Japanese rice, you've got your glutinous rice, you've got your jasmine, your basmati, your wild rice,
I'm sure there must be more varieties of bread than there are rice.
your risotto rice,
Hmm. Okay, I
rice
feel a
pudding.
new podcast coming on, carb podcast. We'll just
Yeah.
endlessly debate which is the best carb. But anyway,
What were we called on the
happily,
last one?
rolling with laughter. So
Rolling
this
with
one can
laughter.
be rolling around because of all the gluten and carbs you've eaten.
But yeah, but I think second place for bread for me. So
Mm.
good. Just warm bread as well. Just toast. I just toast and some really nice butter, really good quality butter and good quality bread. I could just do a loaf.
Well, so you've been listening to the I'm Having My Bread podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this 98th episode. Just imagine if we'd done 98 episodes on bread.
I could do 98 episodes on bread.
Well, and that's my point. I bet there are 98 types of bread. I bet there aren't 98 types of rice. Listener, write in and we might feature that in a future episode. Anyway, back to beer and bread. Happily, in this one, you get to have both. So let's get on with it.
There are over 40,000 varieties of rice worldwide.
Well, you know, you can't count bamboo. So,
There are 39,999.
so, like a good yeast, we have been fermenting away over this game for a while now. I had a copy of this for a while, a couple of years ago, that we both played. And more recently, we've been reliving that experience via the good people at Board Game Arena. Ahead of this record, we've had a little game of this a couple of times over. And to summarize what you're doing in this game, very briefly, in Beer and Bread, you are using a hand of multi-use cards to play one of three actions, allowing you to earn resources, make beer and bread, production from the resources, obviously, expand your yeasty ambitions by building more storage or upgrading your harvesting abilities to improve your production in the future. Did you like yeasty ambitions there?
Yeasty ambitions, yeah.
Yeah. The game has a neat little board with places for lovely little wooden wheat, water, barley, and other resources that are involved in this process. Space for your produced goods to be placed, and a turn track which cycles between productive and fallow years for resource production, which determines a couple of factors, including how many resources you're going to be having available for that game's turn. The theme of the game is that there's two uh, rival villages are competing with each other, trying to outdo each other's beer and bread production. Is probably a competition in there, Quedlinburg style or something, but I just don't care. Right, Paul, that is a quick summary of what's happening in this game. But what is this game actually like to play?
Frustratingly difficult. And also just traveling back, Yeasty Ambitions sounds like a terrible stripper from the 80s.
Yes, or could be our next podcast
Yeasty
title.
Ambitions, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
I'll,
that's the bread podcast that
yeah.
that is yet to appear. Yeasty Ambitions. You heard it here first. Copyright. I'm having my one. 2026.
Right. I look forward to your um, theme tune and logo and stuff at the end of this
Well, I've got
episode.
to work out how to use AI first, but yeah, sure. It's our only work in technology, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, deeply frustrating.
It's
This
so
podcast and playing beer and bread.
so frustrating. It's I don't know whether I'm just missing something on this game because actually on BGG it gets very, very good
Yeah, yeah.
results.
I think it's a real board gamers game, though. I think it's
Yeah.
just all the things that get board gamers rubbing their thighs in a Vic Reeves way, that it's resources, it's multi-use cards, it's got a vaguely Germanic theme and look to it, and it's producing things that most people would associate with living the good life, maybe. But it's got lots of things that I think will adhere to people's expectations of board games. And I think this is something that I'm going to peddle this line already, Paul, that I wrote down, is that this game is just one of those that is too difficult. It's too annoying. It's too frustrating. I feel like I'm going to the review already, the score already. Sorry, but um, it's a game that you have to, I think, be quite good at it to enjoy it and understand the tactics and playing it. I've now the second time picked this up and got my head around the rules and how to play a bit and just found it irritating. And it's just a game that I'm not interested enough in it to want to play it regularly. But I think it is the sort of game you have to play regularly to be good at it, which is not true for all games.
No, and I think yeah, I think because there's never enough storage, you never have the right card. It's really hard to plan what you're gonna build. And because there are so many cards, it's then, as you say, if you played regularly, you'd have an idea what was in the deck, what was more likely to come up.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
No, it's a. I do understand that it's something that you could play again and again and again and really get to grips with it, but it's just not interesting enough. And maybe it's just in the world of so many board games, you just think and maybe feel a bit sorry for dear old Scott Almes here, and sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right, Scott, but um, obviously Liv will listen to this up until about 10 minutes ago. Um, but it's just, I think it's just a sort of game that just gets lost in the noise and so on. You very, very, very really rarely hear anybody talking about this game or championing it, which is a shame. Um, and
Yeah.
I think an example of something that I find irritating when you're trying to learn the game is that the game kind of changes the rules basically halfway through, and not necessarily in a good way. Is that as you're playing through, not even halfway through, it's just in the second round. You're playing the game and you have your hand of cards, and you can pick the things that, yeah, I want to produce this and do that. And it's within that mechanic of this is I can't really think of what the opposite of fallow is, but like in the good year, the productive year of the alternating good and fallow years. You have your hand of cards, you can do stuff, but then you hand that deck to the other person. So you're there, okay, resources, I'm collecting these resources. As you said, always difficult to get them exactly what you want, but okay, I've got some fine. Pass you my cards, and then you just produce that card. Fine. And you go, well, okay, brilliant. So now I've collected for those. I don't have the resources to be able to do it. Fine, get my cards back. Play that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yep.
You've done all that, gets to the fallow year, and then it goes, oh no, you just learnt that and had your anxiety levels raised by not being able to do anything that you want to do in this game. Now I'm going to change it and make it actually how you want and make it much easier for you, where you've got your own deck of cards, your own hand of cards rather to play all the way through. Oh, and also you can then select from different cards that are available and swap them around if you wanted to as well, if you don't like your cards. Okay, great, I'm having a great time. Oh no, again, now we're going back to a productive year and we're smashing you in the face by not being able to do anything again. And it also that's the wrong, obviously feels to me the wrong way around of doing it. Why in the productive year when there's loads of resources available am I able to do less than the fallow years? So, that's a bit of a mark against it thematically as well. There probably is some really good reason because when you're making beer and bread, you like it to be autumn or something. I don't know, but it just doesn't work for me for that. Um, and you're right, the resources. I'm building up a bit of a head of steam here, so I'll calm down and let you go in a minute. But the resources are so frustrating that you don't have particularly water, it seems. There's never enough water to get enough water in the game, apart from perhaps very late on.
And we're right next to a river.
And you're right next to a river on the flaming board with loads of water teasing you right there, and you just can't have any of it. And what that resulted in me doing is that again and again, I kept choosing that third option, which was just to add various bonuses to my future turns. Fine, you might think, great, you have loads of great future turns. No, Paul, because in the future, you're going to put those cards down, and the cards will maybe give you like that extra bonus if you scored cards. You score any cards that have got a 9 or a 7 on them. Whether you're going to get those cards in the future, completely unknown, probably not. They put other upgrade cards that are going to give you more resources in future rounds. Brilliant. Okay, that's great. Apart from I can only store like 9 resources at any one time anyway. So later in the game is completely useless to me because I've got more resources anyway. Yeah, it's a nightmare. Anything to add?
Well, I'd like to say we haven't had a good Tom rant in a long time, many,
Well,
many episodes. So
well, sorry.
it's nice to hear. I think on the kind of maybe playing devil's advocate is it does appeal to that kind of real in-depth game. I mean, it's actually quite a lightweight game, but you do have to plan what resources you're getting. You've got to pay attention to the cards. When I borrowed it off you, I found it frustrating. I was hoping on BGA I'd find it a little bit different. I would say I like how the game looks. I mean, when it was first released, I was really excited for this game.
Agreed. Yeah.
I was really excited for it. I love the way it looks. I like the little beery, bready artwork on the cards, like the steaming loaves, the frothy mugs, and
Yep.
stuff like that. I think the iconography of the different resources is nice and clear. It's easy enough to follow on the board. They are all big positives for it, I think.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, I agree, and I absolutely was with you. I think we may have even, if we went back through the archives, would find an episode where he said, "Oh, this game's been announced, beer and bread." I can almost remember the conversation. This looks really fun. It's about something that looks cool. Great, all over it. So excited to get a copy of this when I did. But I think that's it's part of the problem is that it's presenting as a more entry level and simpler game, and even how it's weighted on BGG than it is. I think it is just it's just so much more complicated than I want. And I think perhaps this is me as a stupid board gamer, but I think that if there's something that's going to be require as or be as complicated and require as much um, attention and dedication to learning the rules and playing it several times over, I think I'm expecting it to be bigger. I'm expecting it to be a bit more to it. It's just that the payoff of at the end of, okay, great, I've got some points because I, produced X amount of bread. And do you know what? That's another thing. That is another thing, is that this game is the dumbest way of scoring in the world. That you have to, I get what they're doing, but it doesn't really work for me in that there are two types of produce you're doing here, right? Beer and bread. And you, through the game, will try and produce what you can of both. But you'll only score for the smallest pile of cards that you've produced. So you'll end up at the end of the game with a pile of beer and a pile of bread cards, but you'll only score for the lowest. So all the way through the game, where it's felt like such a struggle to produce anything, and then even if you've done really well and you've got maybe four bread in one pile and three beer in the other, all those four bread, you might as well not bloody bothered because you're not scoring anything from it. You're just scoring from the three. It's just a lot of effort and just too little payoff, and it's just not fun.
so my wife and I recently, and I haven't played this game for ages, and it's a game we played loads, is we had a game of Agricola Family Edition, just the two of
Yes,
us. And it's got a similar feel. It's got, because you're managing
sure.
your resources. I know this that is worker placement, but you're managing your resources. You're getting your little wooden tokens in. You're using them to buy or upgrade other things at times. It's a similar weight game. It's a similar length play time. It's just so much more engaging.
It is. It is so much more interesting. And feels like you're making progress. I think maybe that's the biggest problem I have is that you just don't feel like you're making any progress with it.
Yeah,
And then you get to the end and then you get told, yeah, most of the progress that you made, you're not scoring for anyway.
yeah.
So,
And it's a shame because actually I like a lot of Scott's other games. So he did Tiny Epic Galaxies, which actually I think is an absolutely banging game.
right,
I think it's fantastic. I've never got round to playing it, but Heroes of Air, Land and Sea, which looks really
excellent.
good.
Absolutely excellent.
I'd
Yeah.
love to have a game of that. So many more of the tiny epic games, which I think most of them kind of for me fit in the good solid seven
Yeah.
type of.
I think this is just a big swing and a miss for me. Just, I agree with what you're saying on all of those. Just uh, not right for me. All right. Scores. What would you give this?
Okay. Um, and I feel bad because I wonder if there's a better game than there is. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm not understanding the game properly. Maybe
I'm
I,
completely happy to acknowledge that that's very much the case for myself as well.
I feel it could just be me on this one, or us by the sounds of it. But I'm going to give it a 5,
Mm. I think it's pretty fair.
which which on the BGG scale is mediocre, take it or leave it. I could take it or I could leave it. Like if I went to one of my board game groups and someone says, "I got this, will you play it with me?" Yeah, I'll sit. Like there are other games I would actively avoid playing.
Yeah, but this isn't Monopoly or something. This isn't a
No,
game that you just go, no, I'm just not wasting my time with that.
no. Like if someone really wanted to play it, I would sit down and play it with them.
Mm.
But I'm not going to be actively seeking out a game of this again.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think I would agree with you that it's a game that I would I would play it again. You know, if you wanted to have another game on BGA, I'd go for that. But I'm kind of not desperate in the slightest, as you may be able to tell, to do that, and certainly would go
I
nowhere
think there
near
are so
pick it
many
up.
games on BGA and Rally the Troops that
Exactly. Is it why waste your time with something like this, right?
yeah.
If it's and I'm sure this works for other people for it to be given the score that it does on BGG, but yeah, not for me. I actually think I'm going to try and give it a really honest score in a try to adhere to what I always do of the BGG descriptions about what this score means. And I think very much I give too many six, sevens, and eights because it's sort of there's a lot of games that are kind of in the middle there. So I'm actually going to go as far as giving this a 3. As bad likely won't play this again. Is that it's just it doesn't it's a disappointment factor here. But for all of the many reasons that I've just wanged on about for more time than people would probably want to listen to, I just don't think this is a good game at all. So
It's
I'm afraid.
the
Go on.
second only three we've had on the podcast since Seb's tantrum with Dune Imperium Uprising.
Well, I'm glad to have joined his tantrums. Uh, so that gives us a podcast score of 4. Not a good one. It seems that in fact, rather than having to choose either beer or bread, I think we'd really rather have something else. That has been episode 98 of the I'm Having My One podcast. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to help us out, please give us a plug on any socials you might have going on. Tell a mate about us. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts or a subscribe on YouTube, whatever it is. It hopefully only takes you a couple of minutes at the very most, and it will really help us out. So until next time, enjoy your gaming and goodbye.
Right.
I'm having my one.
This game gets a 7.3. Are we missing something?
And then 13 versus 20, I got +2, you got +6 to be 15, 26. Yeah, I mean, it's this dumb thing that you'd get the most points for the one you've done the least. It's a real annoying board gamers game, this. I think I'm ready for this review.
Yeah. I will not be proposing a rematch then.
I think this is going to be one of my lowest scores for a while. All right. Hello there, and welcome to episode 98.
That was
Uh,
that was lovely.
okay, good. Uh, I'm gonna have to do it again now.
By the way, you can't say hello there
Why? Why? It's good.
without me wanting to make an Obi-Wan reference.
That's right. I'm fine with that always. Hello there, and welcome to episode 98 of the I'm Having My One
Sorry,
podcast.
sorry.
Okay, right. Third time's a charm.
This is it, Tom.
Yep. No
I
laughing.
believe in you.
Look, this is our podcast. There should be no laughing going on.
No, it's not fun.
It's not rolling with laughter.
No. Oh.
That's done.
Who commented? I'm
Oh.
sorry.